Glad that
All
didn't.
right, everyone. We are here at Make Math Meaningful, Make It More Than Homework Help, and we are going to dive into some activities. I don't always like to share my PowerPoints in share mode because then sometimes I lose some controls. But if it's annoying, I will do whatever you want. Feel free to put comments in the chat if you need me to go faster, slower. Laura and I will be checking it, and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. Is that okay with you? Is this a format okay with you, or do you want me to go PowerPoint sharing it? What do you think? Liz, you want it this way, or do you want me to do it in a slideshow deck?
Uh, I mean, I'd like it to be full screen unless we have to see you to do what we're doing.
Can you do that? Is
Yeah,
that okay with you?
yeah.
All right. All right. On a piece of paper, I want you to write down three numbers that describe you. And we're going to go into small groups and you're going to talk about yourself from number sentences. Let me give you a little hint. So, my three numbers are 62,381, 9, and 18. As a guest, does anyone want to you can take your microphone off and tell me what you think those numbers stand for. You can just call it out.
18 is some life event.
Yeah, 18 is my teenager. She is 18. And Katie, she is coming to UVM right to you in the fall. Absolutely. 18 years ago, I was a mama. I celebrated my first Mother's Day. All right, what do you think? What are the other numbers?
With 62,000, maybe like how many people or how many kids you've worked with or impacted or something like that.
Oh, that's a great guess. I actually think it's higher when we talk about how many we've been doing acres for 9 years. So there's your nine. So for 9+ years, I have been working with educators across the country to coach them on their STEM facilitation skills and help them ask better questions. So the 9 relates more to the impact. The 62 would be good, but I think it's a little low. That is the number of miles away from me that my Italian exchange student currently lives. So we had, when she was 16, she lived with us for a year. She is now 62,000 miles away from me. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to come out. Does everyone have written down your three numbers? All right, I'm going to put you into random breakout rooms, and hopefully you'll be able to meet with a couple people and you'll be able to talk in numbers and introduce yourself in numbers for just a moment so we get to make sure the world feels a little bit smaller as we talk in numbers. Let's see, I'm going to add a room. I'm going to recreate all the rooms. I want to have probably 2 to 3 people in a room. So we'll have 6 breakout rooms. We are going to be in there. It is 37 after the hour at 40 after the hour, depending on what time zone you are. We're going to come back. So just really quick, share your numbers, get to know each other, and then we'll come back. If you have tech issues, feel free to stay in the main room. If you're not able to open up your camera, try to do it with chat with your people. But just a few moments, share your number stories.
Perrin, do we need to click on one to specifically join it?
They should be able to join all the
Okay.
way through.
Okay.
So yes, you should be able to join. If you don't see that, I can move anyone to those rooms. It looks like they are going.
Yeah.
It looks like a couple people, maybe Karen and Jennifer, have not yet joined, but they're still in this room. but their cameras are off, so maybe they're doing something different. So we'll just let the groups talk for a moment or two about their number stories, and people can come back. It looks like everyone, oh, room 5. I'm going to move room 5 to room 3 so that she has someone to talk to. Looks like all the other rooms have someone at least in there, so we should be good.
Okay, looks good.
So we'll just give them 2 minutes to talk numbers.
Awesome. I can only come up with 2 numbers.
Really? What were your 2 numbers?
I got 2 because I have a dog and a cat. They're my 2 kids.
Yeah.
So I have my 2 fur babies. And then 8 is my ideal wake up time.
Okay.
8 a.m.
Amazing. What is
Mhm.
your ideal bedtime then?
That's a good question. I would say like 10:30 would be my ideal.
All right. There we go. Nice to have you. Hello, Christina Clark. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining this session. I hope
Good
you're well.
morning. Good morning.
I
Morning.
know Christina very well. She's one of my favorites. Christina, they're just doing number stories right now. They're just talking about what numbers they have to share. Can I put you in a room
You sure can. You sure can.
All right, off you go.
Thank you, Perrin.
You're welcome. All right. I'm going to give everyone 1 more minute and we'll close the rooms. There we go.
There was a lost thing. It was Jessica and Jesse, and then there's another Jessica. We could have been all of the Jessies in one breakout room.
Oh, that would have been good. I should have been smarter and planned you that way, Jesse. We could have had the number sentence be 3. How many people start with? Oh, actually, we got Jacqueline, Jennifer. We got more than 3 when it comes to that. All right, everyone, thank you. So what we're going to do today is model a whole bunch of activities that you can do with youth at any time. And the real goal is we want them talking and thinking and analyzing in math as often as possible. So you can adapt this to maybe this is how they check in the morning, or this is how they check out at the end of the day. This is a way for them to get to know each other, but this is just a quick activity that allows us to start to think in numbers. Did anyone have a really interesting number, either theirs or their partner's, that they want to share? Lauren shared how many fur babies she had with me. 2, but do anyone else have got a fun number story out there?
I'll go. I talked to a lady named Brittany, and she had got in a little late, so I wasn't able to get her numbers, but we discovered with my number 84 that we're both 84 babies. And they actually, at her job, they have a group of 84 babies and they call themselves the 84 Mafia. So I thought that was super funny and fun. And I'm glad that I was able to get that from her because now I have to look for my 84 babies and come up with a creative name.
So I think you guys can keep talking on the side. You can brainstorm your names. We want you to use the chat, so you can either chat with each other or you can chat with the whole group. But that is a wonderful bonding moment. All right.
Indeed.
I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. All right. So the next one is these 3 terms that I want you to have kind of in mind when we are thinking about math. Make it fun and relevant. We all know you're all after school. You guys are doing an amazing job. I just want you to say out loud, did you know that after school educators are making more of a career influence than high school biology or high school guidance counselors? So congratulations, you guys are making kids think about STEM careers. You all elevate youth voice. You take kids and you give them opportunity to shine and to talk and to connect. So those 2 are pretty standard for after school. But I wonder if you can think about, what do you think use low floors and high ceilings might mean? Low floors, high ceilings. Anyone have an idea of what low floors, high ceilings could mean?
Maybe that it's kind of meeting students where they are. I think of it like I have third graders who need to learn their multiplication tables, and I have 11th graders who are enrolled in geometry class who need to learn their multiplication tables. So that's kind of where we start, and then it's all up from there.
Yeah, you're right. So everyone, can you give me a little like hand signals right here? Thank you, Christina. Okay. We do not want to put kids in a box. We don't want to put them in a small box, right? We want to give them the opportunity to enter where they can. So that's low ceilings, and go as high as they can, which is high, low floors, high ceilings. Most math puts people in a box right like this and limits where they can enter and how far they can go. So we always want to be thinking about how to drop it so more people can enter in, and how that people can go as far as they possibly can. So that's what we mean by low floors, high ceilings, not the box and everything. Thank you for introducing yourself in the chat, Lavetta. Everyone else can do that as well. So those are going to be the concepts that we talk about a lot today. So I want you just to be thinking about that small box and how do we always expand that box. Oh, going. Okay. So we have a great website. I'm going to go back one. And I'm going to give you this website in a minute. It's which one is unique, which one doesn't belong. It's which one doesn't belong is the website name. And it is filled with lots of opportunities to talk about math in a low floor, high ceilings way. We also call it which one is unique so that nobody feels like they don't belong. So I have here one of their activities. Which one is different? Which one is unique? And what is your thought process?
I think 2 is unique.
Tell me
It's
more, Lisa.
different. What?
Tell me more.
I think it's unique because it doesn't have the red outline on it.
Does anyone have a different thought?
My first reaction is number 1, the heart, because it doesn't have the straight lines like the other objects.
Great. So related to that, it would be easier to study the angles of 2, 3, and 4 because 1 does not have the straight lines. What else do you got?
I say maybe 4 because it has a combination of 2 shapes.
Yeah, there is 2 shapes attached together, whereas the other ones are standalone shapes.
I guess
This
I'm gonna
is-
go ahead and say number 3 because it represents something that's round yet not round. So you can make it whatever you want.
Okay. I appreciate that one. I also noticed that 3 is the only one that's not colored in. I'm going to come off share. I'm going to give you all this website so that you can see it. Where did my screen go? All right, share. Huh. I will come back to that. I'll make sure I come back to it and I'll give it to you right now, but just lost that. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I don't know where all my websites went. I will figure that out. Oh, that's why. Okay. Thank you for giving me space and grace on this May-cember. Hadn't anyone heard the term May-cember?
I just learned it from you today. Before
What
we
is it?
everyone
Yeah,
else
tell me. What were we talking about?
It was the idea that May is just as busy as December, and we don't have a holiday and we don't have a whole week off, and it's a whole 5 weeks. And so we give ourselves a little extra grace in December, which I'm on board with.
Sure. Okay, so here is the website. I wanted to make sure I shared it with you all, and you can look around it on your own. Zoom. But I'm going to share it too so that you get to see it. So basically, you can do shapes, you can do numbers, you can do graphs. You can do expressions, you can do photos, you can do incomplete sets, you can do miscellaneous. So again, that concept of we want really low floors and high ceilings. We want places where people can enter in and start talking about it. So when we were doing the shape one, there was a discussion about, I believe it is a pentagon. But we didn't actually use the words the pentagon because we weren't talking about the scientific vocabulary. But we could have had someone in our group who was like, that is a pentagon and it has more angles than everyone else, right? So we could have taken that very far with our math conversation, but we can also talk about which one is colored and which not, and our whole group is having a conversation. If I knew that someone in this group, like Lauren told me earlier, she's a math person, I might push her to give me some definitions and some descriptions, whereas other people, I may just be comfortable with them just engaging in the conversation. So what we're going to go back to is I'm going to pull up another one as an example, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit more in there. All right, so we have 4 numbers. Which one is unique in this case?
$27, because it's the only one that's not prime.
Thank you, Kelly.
Also, 27 is the only one that cannot be divided into as a whole number. Is that correct?
So this is where we would get to talk about what the definition of a prime number is and what the definition of division is. If that was our lesson, we could also talk about number 4 has 3 digits and number 1 has 1 digit. So we could say that number 1 is the only one that has 1 digit. All of the rest have more. We could also say number 4 has 3 digits, not more of it. So we get the opportunity to use that platform to go as far and as deep. And the next one would be at the sets. You would be able to talk about an incline, a decline, and everything like that. So we want to give you opportunities to think about how you would do that. So you could do the next one would be this. So again, they increase in capacity, they increase in complexity, but they still give us the opportunity to say only one is made out of data points. One has continuum through the data points. Where's the line? Where's the decrease in value and everything like that? So I ask you, when do you think you might use that concept, like one of those sets and everything?
Wrapping.
Tell me more.
Like if you're trying to teach them how to find a point in time when something was more or less than another.
So you could introduce any topic you want with this concept of which one is unique or which one doesn't belong. And you can put up 4 images and have the kids discuss it as an introduction. Excellent way to think about that. Is there another way you could use this?
You could use it to like split kiddos into groups. If like you could say who thinks this one's the unique one, this one's the unique one, and then they could kind of go into different groups and then maybe you use those groups for like an activity or something like that.
Yeah, so you can give it to them to try to figure out what they know and what their misconceptions are, where their vocabulary is coming in, and where they are just kind of stumbling. And you can have that be in groups, or you can have it be a group that is really has high math ceilings, can have a big debate, and a group that is at the low floors can have a different kind of debate. So that's the first resource we want to make sure you're aware of. The second one is this concept of use your math eyes. Has anyone heard of that? I will show, I'm going to put it in the chat, another resource for you, but I'm going to show you with a PowerPoint how you can use the concept of using math eyes. So basically math eyes are, there is math everywhere. And I am going to keep it on this one for right now because I want to go through a couple of them. So the idea of use your math eyes. And instead of us asking kids a question that has a very specific answer, we get to ask kids questions that allow them to enter wherever they can. That's called a purposeful question. We don't actually want to ask questions that have a very specific answer unless you are going to collect that specific answer from everyone. So I'll go back to that. I'll look at you when I say that. So if you ask, a purposeful question is, why are you asking that question? What is the purpose of your question is what we talk a lot about in ACRES. And if you ask one kid, what is 5 times 10? And that child answers it wrong, you have to now correct that child in front of everyone. If you ask that child and they get it correct, you have no concept if the whole group knows that information and you should move ahead, or if only one person knows that information or one person gets it wrong. So we want to be asking questions that give us the opportunity to understand where kids are thinking and where they are moving towards. So we call that a purposeful question. So I'm going to go back to, what can your math eyes tell you or share about this Lego picture? I could say my math eyes see that this is 4 times 3. There's 4 groups across and 3 groups down, and that means there are 12 Legos. My math eyes could say, you know what? The percentage of red Legos is higher than the percentage of everything else. I could use my math eyes to talk about the smaller dots. I could use my math eyes to talk about addition, subtraction, percentage. Anyone else have a way to use your math eyes on this one? How about this one? What do your math eyes tell you about this one?
You do fractions.
You could use this one to talk about fractions. So, Katie, if you were going to make a fraction sentence or statement, or what would it be in this case?
Oh boy. Let's see. Half are 3/4 and half are halves.
Very good. So you are describing the ones that are facing on the inside as halves, and the ones that are on the corners as 3/4. Excellent. I could go on to say, I noticed that if you take 2 of the halves and the other 2 halves, I actually have 2 wholes watermelon plus more. I have at least 2 watermelons plus more, and then I could go on to figure out how many more. Like, how could we figure out how many total watermelons exist here?
You could do an equation So you could do 4 times half plus 4 times 3/4, and that would give you the total.
Lauren, you are the math person.
Woo-woo!
I was going to be like, you could cut everything into quarter sizes and then move them together and around to cut them up. So you would be cutting the halves into quarters and you'd be cutting the 3/4 into quarters. So you could do it that way.
Okay.
So what I would like for you to do is I'd like for you to look around your space. And I want you to find something in your space that you could describe using your math eyes. Like I could tell you, I could create a math sentence or math problem, and I could look across my desk and divide it into equal parts and determine what percentage of my desk is covered with stuff. And I'm going to say it's probably 89% of my desk right now is covered with stuff. Does anyone have a desk that is covered with less than 89% stuff? Katie, what percent stuff?
I probably am only 70% covered.
Okay. Lauren's got 50%. Anyone got like a 10% covered?
I do because I just did a cleanse.
Good
So
job,
I'm like that
Alexa.
before.
Okay, who has another math? So I'm going to put you back into breakout rooms just for another 2 minutes. And this time you're talking about comparing your math eyes, right? So I gave you the example of what my percentage of my desk is covered. And then I posed a question to you all, and you had to kind of use your math eyes to figure out something similar. So that's what I want you to be doing in your breakout rooms for. It is top of the hour, so we will go to maybe 4 minutes after the hour. Does that seem fair? Okay, let me do the breakout rooms. I will put you all in those same rooms. If you were not with people or no one shows up in your room, I'll move you around and everything like that. So I will pull you back here at 4 after the hour, depending on your time zone. Two. All right, for those of you who are still here, let me know if you're having tech issues and I can support that. If you're doing other things and multitasking, no problem at all, but we will give everyone about 2 more minutes to talk about what using their math eyes.
It looks like we might have 2 who have others that haven't joined, so maybe we could move Alexi's up with Alicia.
Absolutely.
Alicia.
Yeah. One, 2, 3. Find 2, 1. Find 2, 3. Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Alicia, I'm sorry you were the only one in the room. We'll bring everyone back in one moment and then we will go on to the next activity. It is no problem if you're multitasking and you had, we will be coming back at 1 minute. I'm going to close the breakout rooms and we're going to go on to the next activity. So we totally understand and we give you space and grace to join as you are able. And then we'll go on to the next activity. For those of you who are here back on, is this meeting your needs so far? Yes, no. If you need it, if you have any suggestions or anything, I'm always open for that. But we'll have the breakout rooms. I think they are, oh, people are still talking. So we'll give them the 25 seconds before they come back on it.
Perrin,
Yeah.
this is Christina. Just real quick. I know I dialed in a little late. Are folks that are already utilizing the math portion, are they sharing how they're utilizing it in their after-school programs?
We haven't really had lots of conversations about that.
Okay.
We can make space for that at the end as well. I have a couple more resources I want to make sure you all are familiar with, try out, and then we can make space for how you're using it and how many free resources we are now releasing to the world and that you can use as you wish. Okay, so the next activity, I think I'm actually going to not go back and forth to my slideshow. I'm just going to go back and forth to the websites. It gives me a little bit more control. But the concept of the next one is there's a website. It's called Would You Rather Math, and I'll put it in the chat in a minute. And it is everything from K to 12 all the way up to 9, K to 2 all the way up to 9 to 12. And basically I'm going to go to the 3rd to 5th one. And it gives you all these questions that you get to think on. So we'll stop with this one. Would you rather read 12 pages every night in a chapter book with 144 pages, or would you rather read 50 pages 3 times a week in a chapter book with 132 pages? Anyone have a thought?
I would say 50 pages 3 times a week because I don't really like reading, so I'd try and decrease it.
Now, I could ask lots of purposeful questions, Katie, of you of why you don't like reading, but it's 50 pages 3 times a week. Is that more or less than 12 pages every night?
Oh, I guess it's more, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Now, but it
Less.
doesn't, what we don't know is how big the words are on that page. We don't know what kind, is it a graphic novel versus whether it is a textbook and everything. So there's lots of ways that we could answer that question. It can be purely from a math perspective. If you do not like reading, you might choose the 12 pages every night. Or you might choose the 50 3 times a week, right? Because you got 150 pages 3 times a week and everything. So would you rather math gives us, how about this one? Would you rather buy 18 Reese's Pieces eggs at this price, 2 for $8, or 18 at this price, buy 2, get 1 for free? So what I love about this page right here is I can see all of you doing math. I can see you all in your heads doing math, right? Some of you are thinking about, well, 2 for $8 is $4 each. 97, like I can see you doing math. And then we can have a really interesting discussion about it. How about this one?
Well, they're the same amount if I'm doing the math right. So I want the dollar bills because they are less heavy.
Mhm. So how do you know they're less heavy?
What was the question?
How do you know they are less heavy?
I feel like I've had $2 in my pocket and I've had change in my pocket, and the change in my pocket kind of weighs it down more.
So this site again gives you the opportunity to have low floors, high ceilings, and let kids do it. And it goes all the way up. You can do it in French, but it goes kindergarten all the way up. So they are starting to think about that math and just constantly doing it. It's a great way to do an exit ticket at the end of the day. But sometimes when we do a word problem where there's one answer, we don't actually give everyone the opportunity to engage and to talk to us about what they know, and we don't hear everyone's misconceptions or math, right? If we are asking a question and one person gets it right, we tend to move on quickly, as opposed to this one, we can kind of use different questions to have us thinking more about where the kids are entering in and what they are thinking and what they aren't thinking. So again, I'm going to put that into your Zoom and you can have that as a resource. The next resource I want to share is, here we go. I work for a company called Maine Mathematics and Science Alliance, and we do in-school, out-of-school education. And one lesson plan that we love is numeracy in nature. How do you get kids outside doing math? Now they can use the outside to do math, or they can be outside doing math, or they can actually find concepts of it. The one I love here is angles in the outdoors. And I can show you the resource. And so it's geared for 4th grade, but you can adjust it any way you want. It goes through the whole lesson plan, which is a great resource for people who don't feel comfortable in math. But what I really like about it is that idea. So how many of you can see nature either from your window, or you have plants on your desks, or you have fur babies nearby? So I would like for you to find an angle that is not man-made. And then you get to decide, is it an acute angle, small, right angle, has an angle, or obtuse? So find something in nature, natural made, and tell me if you see the equivalent of an acute angle, right angle, or obtuse angle. Katie, I love the hand signals. So y'all, when you can do it, you can show me if it's acute or... I got cuties. Lauren's got a bird of paradise. Ooh, with a cutie. That would be there. What do you got, Liz? You have an obtuse angle? What's it for?
I have both. There's a tree that's trying to grow, but it's kind of, so it just depends on how you're looking at it. Which
Right,
way
so if you're looking at the internal angle, it might be like acute, and if you're looking at the way that it's reaching out. Yep. Awesome. Anyone else want to share an angle they see? Tree limb too? This is a great scavenger hunt. So anytime you want kids to go for a little scavenger hunt. Ooh, I got a spider plant. Levetto, what do you got? I see acute angles right there as it's coming down. Cool.
Yeah, it's well, a lot of different angles, and we could talk about the width because some of the leaves are a little bit wider than the others, and some are straight up. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the one that's straight up.
Was that like, like spiky hair in the middle of it?
Yeah,
Almost like a
like
right
an
angle there?
alfalfa, like an alfalfa.
All right, so I've just put that lesson plan in there. Does anyone else have other resources? I have a whole bunch of resources, but does anyone else have resources that they like to share? That they are using in their program? So we use bedtime math, U cubed, figure this, which one doesn't belong, how to smile is another amazing resource. So I just put that in there for you to see it. And what I would like to do is take a moment just to share. So after school coaching for reflective educators in STEM, we have been going for 9 years. We've been coaching educators on how to ask good questions, how to make math meaningful, how to elevate youth voice. Oh, thank you, Lauren, for sharing that resource. We have coached educators all across the country. Christina is one of our amazing coaches. We have worked with networks all across the country. Vermont is one of our absolute favorite. We have coaches in Nebraska too. Don't you worry, Lauren. Actually, we have 44 active coaches, but we are in a new phase of our grant. And so I wanted to make sure you all were aware of it. So if you put in acres, tiny URL, acres coaching, I'll put that in the chat for you as well. And I will show it to you. So right now, all of our free resources, all 9 years of our resources are now being released and given out to the world. And we are here for another year to support people as they use them, but in a different phase. So some of our coaches will start doing this in their programs, and they've been doing it in their programs, but they'll now do it for fees and everything. But we have all these guides. So like, how do you ask good questions? How do you facilitate STEM? This is the guide we are just using, how to make math more engaging. I was using the conference version, so the PowerPoint that I used today is here for you to download and use with your staff or with your networks. If you wanted to actually do coaching on it, so the way it works in Acres is people come together. They share videos and lesson plans of themselves doing this work with their students. And then we get to come together in community and give each other feedback, their strengths and their opportunities. So we have the full coaching version there. We have handouts for you. So how you do math cube, problem solving, mathematical freedom, and everything. So I have tons of resources for you if you want to do this with your people. I even have agendas and everything like that. So all of our resources are free right now. And again, this is the one that we suggested we would do. So you can see we have all of these activities if you were going to do a 90-minute session. And you can see we give you how to adapt it to your community, how to do tips for it, which one is unique, how to share that out with your staff, how to use your math eyes. So again, you could have described the sentence as 3 groups of 4. You could have described the red as percentages. And then so all of this is here for you to do it with your staff and with your people. I'm going to give you a moment. Oh, Liz, you participated in Acres. How did you like it?
I liked it a lot. We had a, I don't know, a group of about 6 or so, and having to do the videos and then come back and have folks give feedback on what you've done. My videos were around our garden. We have a community garden, or like a pizza garden, and so our videos, we did videos of purposeful questioning around actually staking tomatoes and some other stuff with the garden. So it was really fun. And the name of the coach escapes me. So she was new, and I wanted to say Jawan, but I don't know if that's true.
Jawan, we have
Okay.
Jawan. Are you from Georgia?
No, well, some people were in that Georgia cohort. I'm from Ohio, but there were some people from Georgia in that. So maybe I just got into one.
Your Ohio STEM coach just joined. Sheila, wave to everyone. So Katie, you've done it. Christina's done it. Katie, do you want to share out on it, how it has changed you?
Yes. It was great. I actually, before working at Vermont After School, I was a classroom teacher. And I did an after school program. And I took the purposeful questions as kind of a part of that. It was with a Vermont coach, Tracy. But yeah, it was great. It was really helpful as a classroom teacher because one of the things I hated was everything was about standards and like getting the right answer. And so it was really cool to be able to use purposeful questions to actually help kids learn more instead of always kind of getting the specific answer for the specific test. Um, Kind of one of the reasons I hopped over to after school because it's more flexible. But it was really good. It was really helpful. And now every PD I do with Vermont, I talk about purposeful questions, even out of STEM, even with career exploration. So I think it can go into everything you're teaching.
Sheila, I see you.
You
Go
you
ahead.
know what, Perrin, you know what I want to say. Can I
I
tell
know.
can I tell them my saying?
Yes, yes. Wait,
So when it comes to purposeful questions, I say it's just like Frank's hot sauce, and I put that on everything. Everything I do, purposeful questions is incorporated into it.
Absolutely.
Everything. It's like my Frank's hot sauce.
so what we're trying to do today specifically is give you the freedom to not ask questions that have one answer, but to really get kids thinking about how they see math, where math exists. Math is everywhere, and so we want to make everything we can into casual conversations about math so we can point out, when, Katie does not want to read 150 pages of math, she might want to choose the other option, but we don't want it to be in a situation where we are turning kids off from math. We want it to be in a situation where they're constantly talking, exploring, and understanding on that. So what I'd like, I will not keep you all for the whole time, but I would like for you just to take a moment to dig into any of the resources that I have put up there. Make sure you can access it, make sure they are coming up on your screen. And so just take 2 minutes, and then I'm going to put you into groups. And just for you to talk about the question that Christina brought up is, when are you doing math, or when could you do these math casual conversations in your programs? We have had people who have the kids lined up to go to the bathroom, and they will hold up a question like a would you rather, and that's how they entertain the kids while the kids are going in and out of the bathroom. We have had people who every day start out with, hey, give us a number from your day. Tell us about your day in a number. And it goes from, being 0, I had a crappy day, to 595, and that's how many minutes I spent looking at the clock waiting for my puppy to come the last few days, right? Like it expands. The more we have these conversations, the more kids get into it. So take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to make sure you can at least access some of the resources there. At 11:25, I'm going to put you into groups, and you'll just spend 5 minutes or so talking with each other about math in your program and how to make it more than just homework help, or more than just right answers or wrong answers kind of thing. All right, when you have explored a resource and you are ready, why don't you head into a breakout rooms and have that conversation about how do we make math about more than just a right answer or homework help in your programs. And we'll be in there for about 5 to 6 minutes.
Are you assigning rooms or are they self-selecting?
Oh, I will, they can be self-selected. Why don't you go to, I'll move you to 3, and Lynette, I'll put you in 4. And if you're here because you're multitasking, if you're here because you got people interrupting you, all good, no problem. We give you that space and grace. We'll just give everyone about 4 minutes or so, 5 minutes or so in that group. Lauren, everything going okay? Is this
Yeah,
okay?
you're doing wonderful. I was bragging to our team. We have a group chat going at how awesome the session is. I always get excited. We had the one that I shared, the resource that I shared earlier, was from either last year or 2 years ago of this conference. And I just feel like every year I get some cool, fun math resources, and I just love it.
I think it's always great when we get to share and learn from each other and everything. So
Yeah, and there's just so many good things out there that you don't know until you run into. So
I got 2 in that room, 2 in that room, 4 there. I think I might move Katie to, well, I'll just leave it. That's fine. Everyone seems to be able to be talking, so that's good. So Lauren, I'll bring them back and see if they have any questions and if there's anything they want to share, but then we'll let them have a little space before they go to their next.
yeah, that sounds wonderful. This has been great. Perfect timing. Everyone can have a little break before the next one. So
How are you feeling?
doing
Not,
okay.
not worse.
Yeah, I've just been having coughs and just kind of a persistent headache. So it comes and goes. I think middle of the day it gets better and then it gets a little worse later. So
I totally know. And I don't know where Nebraska is as far as the pollen count, but I'm sure that spring is not.
I'm sure it's way up there. And every year I'm like, wow, I keep getting sick at the same time. And then I realize, okay, maybe some of that's allergies. But I do think this one's the combo. I think I've gotten the nice 1-2 punch here.
I definitely have the combo these days. Like you're like, oh,
Mhm.
Claritin is not helping enough.
Mm-hmm. I love these which one doesn't belong. Those are fun. I always love that they have a picture of it, that game that has the different cards.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it's called, but it has like the bubbles versus the diamonds versus the whatever. Maybe it's set. Anyway,
Maybe.
I love that game. When I was a kid, we used to play it all the time in my after school program. So good.
Um, Lauren, give me 2 random words together.
Like totally random words.
Yeah.
Okay, apple and sidewalk.
Thank you. All right, we will bring them back in. No, it's always a good conversation when they don't come back immediately, right?
Always a good sign.
Lauren, could you just count for me how many total people are when we come back, or like what the number is? Sorry.
Yep. I think we've had 18 pretty consistently, but I will get a final.
Oh, 18's good. All right, coming back. Everyone is coming back. Woohoo! I'm going to give you one moment. I'm going to do one exercise, one more activity. It's called photo elicitation activity. I asked Lauren 2 words, and now I'm going to pull up a picture, and we're going to look about the math for it in that picture. So this will be one more activity that you can do with youth. But I'm also giving you a sense of if there are questions you want to ask or things you want to say out loud, we will, after this quick activity, we'll turn it over to you all and we'll have questions to answer, or you can share out of how today is going. But here it is. So I asked Lauren for 2 words, random words, and she said apple and sidewalk. So I just picked up a random image. So this is a photo elicitation activity, basically proving that we can use any photo at any time to talk about STEM. But right now is what math could relate to this picture?
How many bites were taken out of the apple before it was discarded?
Right, you could totally take a guess of how many bites it takes to eat an apple or discard it or to eat half of it. Yep. Excellent. What else? What is another way we could use this photo to talk about math?
What about distance?
How far they threw it, right?
Well, like, because if you're talking about photography as well, you know, the distance, like this was about 5 feet from the apple using such and such zoom.
Yep. Great. Any other ways we could use a random photo elicitation activity to get kids talking about math or thinking in math?
The number of bugs that have touched it.
Yeah, you could predict how long it takes for the bugs to touch it. You could predict how many bugs are going to show up. You can predict how many species of bugs would be there. You could predict how long it's going to take the bugs to eat it to help it to decompose, right?
And the good one
Awesome.
in the chat says measuring time based on the shadow.
Oh, very cool. Thank you for reading that chat. I didn't see that. So again, there are so many different ways we can get kids talking about math, making predictions, making calculations, guesstimating, comparing answers. We just have to put on our math and eyes and think of STEM everywhere. So we will now, I'm definitely going to let you all out early unless you have 25 minutes of questions, but I know that there's also a 12 o'clock session, and I know that people need a little break after an hour and a half of Zoom or 2 days of Zoom. And math for an hour and a half can also be a lot. So I'm going to give you the space. Does anyone have questions for me or for our other Acres partners? Or for each other, or if there's some, that'd be one. And then if you want to share out anything, you could do that as well.
I'd like to hear more about how people are incorporating math into their programs.
Great.
We got cut off in our little session, so.
Does anyone else want to share out what they learned or talked about?
I'm going to call out, I was listening in my room and I think it was
It was me.
Janessa, yes, I think you should share because you had some awesome math ideas.
All right. So, so what we do with some of our kids is I was telling her that I'm a gamer. I love like board games or like Jenga, Connect Four, all that type of stuff. And so, what we do with our kids sometimes before we start our tutoring sessions is I like to do Math Connect Four. And so, we have the group split up into two, and we ask them like simple addition questions, and whoever is the first person to answer the correct answer, they get to put their chip into the Connect Four board. And so we'll do that until we have a winner on one side. And then I was telling her we might reward them with an extra snack before we get started with our activities, or we do have like a prize room to where they can go and, select a prize to take home. But the kids really enjoy it. It's fun. It gets them active. It gets those brains flowing. And sometimes we even do speed rounds where there is no math at all. They just have to go as fast as they can to play the game of Connect Four until we do have a winner. So that's one way we have done the mathing in ours.
And again, when we talk in acres, we always want to come back to what is the purpose of our lesson and what is the purpose of our question. And so there is definitely a time and a space for us to be doing math fast and rewarding people for doing the right answers. We just want to be really intentional and say, okay, we have done an activity that's purposeful and relates to speed and fluency. And now we might need to do an activity where we slow it much further down and it kind of exists in molasses. And so that kids who are not the fastest get a chance to really engage. So when I coach educators, as do the coaches here, it's always like, what is your purpose? Are you giving enough wait time? And how can we make it so, again, we have low floors, high ceilings, and everything. But always come back to what is the purpose of the lesson. And if you want people going fast, which is definitely a math skill, and we want them confident, we want them having fun, that is a great activity. And then the next day, we want to do a different kind of activity so that we are balancing that out. Does anyone else want to share how they're doing math in their programs?
I mean, one thing I'll share with, we talked about the multiplication tables and stuff like that, and we use things like that to celebrate. So like when we do our multiplication things, then we issue a license to multiply. So we make a little, take a photo and do a little thingy for that. And the same with like telling time, just anything you can find to celebrate those little, like you say, just fluency, because the kids just really, the kids we serve struggle. So we try to find any way we can outside of handing out Jolly Ranchers left and right.
Kelly, thank you, Liz. I think that's wonderful. I love when we celebrate kids. Kelly, what were you going to add? Oh, you're muted. I'm not sure Kelly's talking to us, so I'll go.
I was gonna share one thing. So we did an engineering activity with kids where we wanted to help them identify as engineers. I think that sometimes can be difficult and sometimes can be really easy for younger kids, depending on like what their experience has been in the past. So we designed the first day of the curriculum was everyone gets to make their own engineer hat. And so every time you come to the club, you put on your engineer hat. And then that way it kind of gives that feeling of like, that's right, anytime I'm doing things like this, I'm an engineer, and kind of helps with that like association. And so when I heard the like Math Eyes resource, it just made me think like, oh, we could do some fun glasses where you can decorate them however you want and you can put on your math eyes and just have that like physical representation. But then also talk about like you can do it without them, but like just having that fun reminder I feel like is sometimes good for kids. So that was just an idea I had because I like the Math Eyes resource.
Lauren, I know programs who have made like those prop eyes glasses and they, hey, let's go in our math eyes and everything. One of our other Acres skills is the engineering mindset. So we do have resources, lesson plans, all the things that we shared in there as well. Thank you, Christina and Alicia, for commenting. Any other questions or things you people want to share out before I allow you to get a stretch break and go check out the angles outside or the angles in your kitchen and the fridge? Like, that'd be pretty interesting. What angles can you find in your fridge? But sure, there's a lot of right angles in your fridge, all the boxes and everything. So if you need anything at all, please reach out to the Acres Project, acres@mmsa.org. Again, we are completely here to support coaches who are already trained as they take this and integrate it into their world. Networks like Vermont and Nebraska as they do workshops, and then educators. But right now, all of our resources, we are in a dissemination stage of getting our resources out to people and making sure they know how to use them and access them. So if you have any questions at all, reach out to us and we'll be here to support.
Wonderful. Thank you. This has been awesome. This just makes my math heart happy to see all these good ideas. So yes, excellent work. And yeah, I would encourage you all to check out your Zoom schedule, see if there's other sessions that interest you. I think we have a really good afternoon set up. And otherwise, thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. Happy Maycember. Take care. Give yourself some space and grace with Maycember. It's so busy. There's so much going on, and you guys are making such a huge difference in the lives of kids, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Perrin.
Bye, Katie. Goodbye, everyone. Nice to see all my Acres coaches.